Radical.
Welcome to Flea Market Stories, documenting one man's journey into the world of flea marketing. This is going to be a very short version because I'm on the road and I'm going to get home and try to upload this before what's already recorded, which is the show off Saturday. I recorded that earlier in the day. I'm recording this, uploading this first so it would make sense. What's coming will make sense so you can put everything in reference. Okay, so this was a very short day. And I didn't plan on getting overtime at the main job, but, overtime is overtime. It's good pay. So I took that so I could cut out from flea marketing early. I think I cut out around maybe 1:30, I want to say. I was trying to leave a little earlier, but I got to talking with somebody, and you know how that goes. So when I get there, there's a guy that I know that usually gives me good deals on things. I generally don't buy from people unless I get good deals. And what I got from this guy for $10 was about 6 or 7 fine china plates, commemorative marked. The boxes were kind of dirty, but the art on them was very good. I got 24, I think they're from the 80s, which is Richard Petty Winston Cup. I don't know, I'm not really a NASCAR person, but, it's 24 of them and they were sealed. Not good for drinking, though, since they were from the 80s. And also a Hugo Boss, like the Hugo Boss people that make cologne, a Hugo Boss remote control car. I'm thinking that's a pretty good haul for $10. The car alone will probably go for $10. But here's the thing about the car. It wasn't working. I opened the battery compartment and it looked like all the batteries were corroded. So I'm going to hit that with some electrical cleaner and we will see what happens there. But alone on the Richard Petty stuff, I thought I got something. Now, I was only there for 3 hours, and I brought way more than I really needed to bring for the 3 hours. I mean, the car was kind of loaded down with a lot of stuff. A lot of it was lighter stuff like clothes, but still, per square feet, was kind of loaded down. So here's the problem I had. I got the stuff, I picked it up, but I didn't think I would sell enough in those 3 hours to actually get rid of enough room to make for the stuff that I got from the other guy. So here's what I did. I did some of my flippin' magic. Flippin' magic, baby. Here's what I did. So I took the Richard Petty 24 long neck bottles to the same guy that I got the PlayStation 2 and the box of Ratty controllers for, which was kind of like, the PlayStation 2 works, but the controllers are all pretty much like garbage, so, I don't know, break even on that one. But what do I deal in? Mostly Blu-rays, DVDs, and video games. Okay, so I noticed this guy had about 40 to 50 DVDs in a box. And these were all sealed. But they were action movies. I mean, some of them looked like they might be interesting, but they were not any big-time movies. Not like, your Men in Blacks, like Tomb Raiders, not, your big-time movies. For some reason, my brain just went blank. It's been that kind of day where I forgot what are random movie titles. Okay, Aliens, Terminators, not any big-time movies in there. But I got some people that come by and they religiously buy a couple of DVDs $1 each. So I'm looking at the box. I'm like, okay, it's maybe, if I'm lucky, 2 for $1, maybe on some of those. Looking at maybe $30. So in time, I'm going to make it back from that. And we're not even talking about those commemorative china plates, which admittedly is kind of like a niche item. But those and the Hugo Boss car, I'm looking at something here, so that's positive there. Also, another flip that I did was there was a guy that came by, and I forget the details and setup. First, he came by asking about some cards, if I had any Kingdom Come cards. So what he did was, this happened just like hours ago. I'm trying to remember exactly. Was there 3 different visits? I can't remember what. Here's one thing that's positive for a lot of you fellas. This guy, he wasn't like ugly, but he was like very average looking, maybe a little overweight, not charismatic, just kind of like a nerdish guy, He was with a ebony goddess. She was gorgeous. And I was just curious, I was just curious You don't want to assume and say like, well, how long have you two been together? You don't want to make that assumption and whatnot because they might just be friends. They might be stepbrother, stepsister, but it seemed like they were actually a couple. So I'm like, good on this fella. Good on this fella. He wants some Kingdom Come cards. As far as the comic stuff, he always looks through my comic box religiously, even though he knows that I don't really add much to the comic box. I did tell him I'm reducing some of the prices on those comics to kind of get him out of here. Hell, I gave him a copy of Shade the Changing Man. I did. He wants some Kingdom Come cards. So I talked about that. He went home. I didn't know he went home was going to come back. He came back and brought me. No, he came back twice. He came back once and brought me the card sheets. And I said, here's the deal. You give me some card sheets, and I'll fill some up with Kingdom Come cards, and I keep the remainder of the sheets. Because I need some card sheets. These were really nice Ultra Pro card sheets. Maybe like 20, 25? Yeah. So I said, we got a deal. I'll remember tomorrow to bring you some DC Kingdom Come cards. I gotta add this. How could I forget? It's just because I'm so rushed. I can't forget the guy that was asking people if they needed soap. The guy was selling soap. I'm not sure if it was bars or like squeeze soap. I think it was squeeze soap. This cringe guy, this hilarious cringe motherfucker was trying to sell people soap. And there's a way you got to go about this, which is not the way he went about it. A little bit of a background on this person. He was maybe like late teens, early 20s, kind of heavy set, and he was very like he could raise his voice, but it was like kind of soft, right? So when people were going by the table, you could tell he really had no confidence in his salesmanship. In fact, he said one of the reasons he was there is try to get his abilities and skills up when it comes to sales. Could you imagine being at a table with not all that much, with some soap and some other stuff, looking to the left of you, and this motherfucker over here, he's got a spread, he's got TVs blaring, Well, I mean, I keep him low and everything. Like, this guy's fancy, he's got multiple tables, How am I going to compete with this? Like, that guy, though, used to be me. I mean, not exactly. Actually, not at all. It just sounded like something I should say at that moment. Okay, so, the funny thing about this guy was, he would wait until people came by. And then, he would have the corniest opening line. He would say, hey, I know, you look like you could use some soap. It's funny, this is the way he said it. I can't replicate it. I hope he vendors there again so I could maybe master it or record it. Damn, I don't think I recorded it. He says, hey, I know what you could use. You look like you could use some soap. And I was thinking, this guy's gonna get a fucking black eye. You don't just say that to people. Like, hey, you look like a dirty motherfucker. You look like you could use some soap. I wish I could replicate exactly the way he said it. I should have been there. I was right beside of him. I should have been coaching him. Here's what you want to do. Okay, when people walk by, right? You don't want to whisper at them like they have to listen up to hear you. Okay, you want to be firm, you want to be direct, and you want to say, hey, you smelly motherfucker, I got some soap for you. $5.